Hi, this is Rebecca Cantrell, and this is Political Strategy and Tactics with R.C. Cantrell. Today, I would like to talk about stereotypes, vilification, and scapegoating. These seem to be universal human tendencies, which are almost always counterproductive unless you happen to be in a war and you're trying to psych yourself up to kill your enemy. They don't do you any good, and they make you less effective as a political activist. An example of stereotyping, vilification, and scapegoating is what Trump is trying to do to the Muslims and the Mexicans. He's trying to say that they are responsible for the problems of our society, and if we could get rid of them, that these problems could be solved, which is just simply not true. A lot of the terrorists attack other Muslims, and even if you got rid of every single Mexican in the United States, it wouldn't make that much difference in the economy, because if anything, they help our economy. But the left also calls people's names. For instance, they take people who are merely conservative and call them racists and fascists, and that is part of what is causing the backlash that brought the alt-right and Trump to power. I first learned about this topic when I was a market research interviewer. I was doing a survey where I tried to predict people's political party from the answers that they had previously given me on the survey, and I was amazed at how often I was wrong. I was the product of a very extreme leftist environment, and I had just had all kinds of crazy stereotypes about conservatives that just were way, way off bat. And so it really helped me to have that experience. I've also had the experience of being stereotyped, vilified, and scapegoated myself by my political enemies, who used to use the erotic and postmodern elements in my art to brand me as hoochie and crazy, respectively. It turned out that the only reason there were erotic elements in my art was because I was living in a gay neighborhood and experimenting with some of the forms that I saw there. And the same for postmodernism. It was because I went to a school where that was all the rage, and so I experimented with that too. But fortunately, they weren't really crucial to my message, and I was able to drop those elements out and make it much more difficult for my enemies to do that to me. Finally, once when I was a student, I hadn't studied for an exam, but I happened to know the opposite point of view from the one I held because of a previous class that I had been in. And so what I did is that I just sat down and I really wrote on this exam everything about my opponent's point of view, why they might have felt that way, what was true about it. And as it turned out, I got an A on my exam, but I also learned a very valuable lesson, which is that you can deal with these kind of issues a lot more easily if you really understand both sides, rather than if you're just pretending that you do. And so right now, as people know from the last two videos, my problem is the alt-right, and I want to try to persuade these people who once voted for Obama and switched to Trump that they need to come back to the other side, and that fascism, well, I shouldn't say fascism because that's probably stereotyping. He hasn't become a fascist yet. Trump and the alt-right are not good for America. And I'm going to get nowhere with that if I stereotype, vilify them, or scapegoat them, or if I try to say that they're dumb, or that I try to make them feel guilty because they don't care about America just because they want to put their own interests first. And also, if I'm honest with myself about it, I can see that it really wasn't right, what our government did to the people in the Rust Belt, just leaving them there to shift for themselves as the jobs went overseas, and that there are certain things in our society that have gone a little bit too far, and that if I were a conservative parent, I would be very, very angry about. And so what I'm hoping everyone will do is take your political issue that you said you were going to work on from last time and write out your opponent's point of view. What are the points that your opponent would make to describe their point of view? What are the reasons that you think they hold these views? And what do you think is true about it? And I think that everyone will see, if you do this for 10 minutes, that it's just really a great exercise, and it really, really strengthens you as a political activist. It makes you feel a lot more confident because you know what you're dealing with instead of just having to guess about it. So as usual, if anybody has any comments or requests for topics, please let me know below, and have a nice day. Thank you. Bye-bye.